Hey, this is Steve from LegitTechTutorials, and welcome to HTML5 tutorial, beginning HTML tutorial number 7, which is going to be links. So you've seen links on web pages where they link from one place to another place, and we went over that a little bit. You saw in the address section where we put in a mail to. But we're going to go ahead and go over linking and a little bit of the basics of how websites and web servers are structured in order to reference between multiples of them. So first of all, the tag or element that the tag and then what's included inside the tag is really what makes the difference of how a link works. So in this case, we're going to use an A reference similar to the address that we did in the HTML semantic markup. And then you're going to have an equal sign. And then here, so this H reference, and we're going to go ahead and type in the website that we want to go to. So let's go ahead, you're going to need forward slashes. Let's say thelegitpc.com. And there you go, that's a full website, and that's all inside of the HTML, the tag of the A. And then you're going to write where that's referenced to, and that's going to be the part that's underlined. So let's say the legit PC, and then we're going to close that A tag, and then when we go here, for whatever reason, it does not want to display. Well, there you go. You can see it now. Alright, so there it is right there. And you can see that what I wrote in after the tags, in between the two tags, the element in between there is what showed up. So, I mean, you could do it however you want it to do it. You know, you could pull this guy and copy this guy. And paste this guy, and then you could do whatever you want. I mean, what you kind of don't want to do is you don't want to mislead your users. Is you could say IMDb, you could say like YouTube.com. And it will still display the legit PC, but this one's going to legitpc.com and this one's going to youtube.com. So you want to make sure that these two correlate, because you don't want to be confusing your users. You would definitely, lose some fans that way very, very quickly. So this particular that I'm using, this http youtube.com, is what's called the absolute URL. So that's linking to somewhere that is not inside of your site. So yeah. And now let's talk about linking from different pages of your site. So let's say, for example, we go here and we're going to go into the A reference. I'm not going to delete all of it. We're just going to go in there and we're going to delete this. So let's say you have a home page. So you're going to say home, or you have an index, of course, which is usually the home page. So as you see there, it's jumping from one page to another. So this is a link to jump from one page to another. And here, if I had paragraph signs, it would space them out. Or if I used a list, which we're going to go over in the next tutorial. I'm doing this tutorial first because I think it's a little easier than lists. So we'll do lists next. Okay. So there we're jumping to another page. And as you see, I don't need the HTTP, because this is a relative address and it's already inside your server. So when you do this, the folder that you're currently in, the directory that you're currently in, is automatically assumed, so that's what it's going to go off of. So then you have, an about us page.html, and then you say about us here. And there you can see you already have the structure of the bottom portion of your page there. So this would be there at the bottom, and it would have all that about us, and it would link to a different page. So that's really cool there. And then you could have as many as you want. You can keep going. And like I said, these are relative URLs. So and that's always used for something in your site. So for example, if you wanted to, let's say, jump back a let's say if you wanted to jump back a folder or something like that, you would do something like oops, sorry, I was in the wrong editor there. We're going to do something like, for example, let's say reviews world of tanks.html. Now basically what you're seeing here is you're seeing jump back. For example, let's say that all this stuff was in the reviews, all of these were in the reviews folder, or was in a different folder. So now we're telling it jump back out of that first folder and jump into the reviews folder. So it's jumping into one of the childs that they're shared with, and then you could jump back even farther by using, you could say structure, whatever your name of your the naming convention that you use to structure your site. But here is, for example, what everything tiers off of. So this is like the base folder, and then it goes reviews and things like that. And then you can keep going. So here we have 2, and then it goes all the way down to the HTML page. But then you can keep going farther. You could say so usually there's like a web or an HTTP page, and that means that's the the base page. So here it's going all the way down. So what you're seeing here means that the current place that we're in, the current HTML page that's loaded, is in the HTTP. So that means go from HTTP, go down here, right? So if it was in the same page, then we would only need this to switch. And if, for example, it was in a page that is lower, then we would switch here. So this is jump into reviews. So in this case, this would mean that reviews is inside this guy. So let me show you. So let's say we have a tree. Let me just draw up a quick tree here, just so you guys can get an idea of this relative here. So let's say you have images, and then here inside images you have a logo.jpg, and then here we have our reviews. But then let's say there's this here is a structure. And then here inside the structure, next to images, we have music, and then we have music page.html. Oops. So, for example, here the path for structure. So if you wanted to go to the images page, and let's say that music is even here, and this is a folder. Okay, so let's say we wanted to go to the music page. I don't know why it would be in the images page, but let's just say hypothetically. So you would say structure, you'd get rid of this guy. So you'd say structure, and then we're gonna go to images. And then we got World of Tanks. Well, we don't want World of Tanks in this case. We want music. So we're going to say music, and then we're going to jump another folder down saying music page.html. So now that will go all the way through your folders and get to, so go through this folder to this folder, from this folder to this folder, and then pull this page up. Now, if we wanted to go to, let's say, fave music.html. So let's say we wanted to go to that page, then we could go ahead and jump straight in there because we're already in the same directory, because we're already in the same file, we're already in the same folder running around that directory. So you could call favemusic.html, and it will automatically jump into it. So that way we could, go back and forth. And that's basically how you would do it. So as you see there, you want to make sure that things are not so deep in, because you would have super long URL extensions here to get all the way down there. So let's say we have everything else is in structure. So where when you have your website, you only have this one changes, and it could have a subfolder, but that's it. So let's say in this case you have only 4 folders in there. So the only two that would change would be this one and this one, or it could not even include this one. And when I meant 4, I meant 3. So 3. So structure is the main starting directory. Then it goes to images. Then it could go to whatever else. So that's the beginning of the tree, and then it goes really wide. So you have images, music, pages, all that kind of stuff. And then you go to, this would be any subfolder in there. And if you don't have a subfolder, then it would go straight to the HTML. So that would keep it nice. It's all, kind of draw it out as a chart to get the best idea. And hopefully I explain that the best way as possible to you to understand it. And if I made a mistake there, I apologize for that. You'll probably learn here in a second when you try to do it. Okay. So now let's go and talk about another A reference, which is the mail to. And remember, this is an attribute here. That's what those are called, attributes. So mail to the LegitTechTutorials at gmail.org. Gmail.com. Now, then we're going to go ahead and close that. Then we're going to say my email. And then we're going to close the A, except for with a forward slash. And there you see my email, and it has that containing there. So when you click on it, it will jump to the new portion of, it'll jump to whatever you have as your default mail system on their computer, on the client's computer, and it will do that there. So also there's another attribute that we're going to go over called target, and the target is basically, so for example, let's say I jumped back to this guy, and let's say I want to, oops. Now basically what you see there is going to, when you click on it, the target attribute and the value that I put in there blank will make this page load up on a new window tab, or open in a new window. And then so if you want to point to another website and want them to eventually come back, you would use that to pop them into a new tab to look at some other content, and hopefully, come back to that same thing. Okay, so now the very last part that I'm going to go over here is linking to a specific part of the same page. So now we're going to do a little bit of HTML here. So we're going to have, I don't know if we went over ID yet. We haven't gone over ID yet, but we'll go over that. So we're going to say top, and then we're going to close. And we're going to say bottom. Where's the pound sign? Pound, bottom. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to jump I don't know what exactly happened here. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and close that A. So now what I'm going to show you is how to do a jump from one portion to another portion. So first you're going to do a P here, and then A, H reference, and then you're going to do the pound sign, top. Then you're going to close the P. So now when you click this guy here, it will return to the ID that you called top. So here's the ID top, and here is the link to the top. So when you click on this guy, it will jump up to this top part. And now, for example, if we wanted this, this is also a link to the same thing here. So you'd have to do a bottom portion. So you'd have a P or a header. Well, I guess you would technically have them only inside the headers because that's the beginning of the portion. So we're going to call this, what do we call it? We called it bottom. And then we're going to call this bottom. And then we're going to say, I'm just going to say, there you go. So now when you click on this bottom, which of course they're flipped around, so this guy would be flipped to this other guy. Yeah. So here you see it's jumping in this case. It would jump, let's say if we did and then we close that P and then we like moved it down far. But it seems like it's going to want us to do I don't know if we're going to be able to get it to go all the way down. Anyways, but you get the idea. It'll basically jump to the top there. If we were down farther in the page and we wanted to go and look at the top, it would jump to the top. And if we hit the bottom button, it would jump to the bottom button. So that way, if people get off of the point that they want to be on, then you hit that and it will jump to that portion. So, for example, you would probably have this guy, the directory at the top here, and then everything else following. So what I mean there is, after I delete these guys here, is you would probably have it like this. What the hell is a P? But here we need a space between the two, so we're going to hit a P here. Space it out. So there you go. And then you have your content there. So this would be the directory to jump to the certain things. And probably you would have a title, which would be the H1, and these would be H2, H3, because there's a title up top to split these up. So you would jump, you know, you would hit these buttons and it would jump from top to bottom. See, as you can see here, it's jumping, it's changing the file location, jumping from the top to the bottom. Yeah. So this has been Steven from LegitTechTutorials, and I would like to thank you for watching my tutorial number 7 for links. For HTML5, and I will have a practice for you guys that will hopefully have this to where you could see it. Right now we're just going over it, then we're going to do a practice in my next video, and I'll show you that jumping around from different files. So I'll see you then, and I'd like to thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this, and subscribe for more series and other videos from this series, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Oh, and yeah, if you have a question, email me on that email I showed you guys, the LegitTechTutorials at gmail.com. Same thing as the channel name. Just send me an email at Gmail if you have a question. All right, I'll see you next video. Thanks for watching.